Hello! Is it everything okay with video and voice? Please confirm that everything is okay. So you are only spectators at the moment. So which country are you from? You are from Poland. Very nice. Okay, so for today I want to describe games between Rashid Nizmetdinov and Mikhail Tal. They played 4 games between each other, and the score is 3-1 in favor of Rashid Nizmetdinov. All of games Rashid played it with white, Mikhail Tal played with black. So we can start. If there are any question, well, I can answer everybody if something is interesting. Якщо хтось говорить українською мовою, може писати питання українською мовою Ukrainian people. Hello. First chess book is same as Gelfand. Yes. Подорож у шахове королівство, Traveling to Chess Kingdom, which was written by Auerbach and Bailin. And my second chess book I will show, just a moment, was this book. Roisman, 400 chess miniatures. So, which was written by Roisman. It was second, but first was Auerbach and Bailin book, sorry. Отже, ще раз кажу, хто з України, пишіть українською мовою, я відповідатиму українською. This is announced for Ukrainian people. Is it everything okay with voice, with video, with chessboard? I hope. Hello. Please be active, because if chat is passive, I have doubt if something wrong with my stream. Okay. Яка тема відео сьогодні? Значить, сьогоднішнє відео присвячене партіям, які грали між собою Рашид Нижметдінов і Михайло Таль. Вони зіграли між собою 4 партії. Так це стало, що в усіх 4 білими грав Нижметдінов, а чорними Таль. Рахунок 3-1 на користь Нижметдінова. Ну і ми будемо, значить, розбирати ці партії сьогодні. От така сьогодні тема. Explain in Ukrainian language. Так що доброго вечора всім і бажаю приємного перегляду. Якщо є якісь питання, прошу задавати. Так що перша партія відбулася. Yes, general chess question, it's possible. Why not? Totally possible. About Chess Olympiad, because team coach Alexander Sulipa didn't invite me to play, simply. So, Ola. So in first game, e4, e6. French defense, not very common choice in games with Tal, with black. So I remember he lost in this opening against Ukrainian chess player, not very famous, but quite strong, Anatoly Bannik, I mean, who was Ukrainian champion 5 times. This is like record. Nobody was Ukrainian champion so much time, so many times as Anatoly Bannik. Я розказую, що Таль у французькому захисті свого часу програв Анатолію Банніку, не такому вже дуже відомому у світі українському шахісту, але досить сильно. Бо і Анатолій Баннік 5 разів був чемпіоном України. Це поки що не вдавалося нікому. Мені не вдалося жодного разу. Я був, однак, чемпіоном України серед молодих майстрів, але так, якщо брати серед дорослих, то ще жодного разу я не був чемпіоном України. Баннік був 5 разів. Okay, so e4, e6, d4, d5, knight c3, bishop b4. Whenever variation, black has choice here. I don't think so. Okay, usually black has many defensive resources in French defense. Also, quite often they have resources for counter-attack. Доброго вечора. So bishop b4, okay, another popular lines here, knight f6 and e5, knight fd7, or bishop g5, also possible. D takes e4 is possible, knight takes e4, and now bishop d7 is possible with idea bishop c6 or knight d7, Rubinstein variation. Okay, but bishop b4 played Mikhail, e5 played Bannik, c5. Now the most popular move is a3, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, or bishop a5 is also possible as well. It's popular especially between Armenian players like Sbattle Putyan and Rafael Vaganyan. If I have seen sacrifice, of course, if you mean game Nizhmedinov Chernikom, queen takes f6, of course, I have seen this game. So, if you mean this game. I will show, probably not everybody knows. e4, c5 was opening, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, bishop e3, knight f6, bishop c4, castle, bishop, to remember, it was bishop b3, knight g4 somewhere was played. Yes, knight g4, queen takes g4, knight takes d4. According to modern theory, queen d1 now is the best move. But Nizhmedinov played queen h4, queen a5 played Cherdikov, castle, bishop f6. Now he took on f6. And after knight e2, knight takes e2, e takes f6, knight c3. And white has very strong compensation because knight d5 is coming, bishop d4 is coming as well. Yes, I explained it already that Tal played the French defense. Also, there is a famous game between Fischer and Tal, which was ending with draw, but it was a3 bishop a5 line instead of bishop takes c3. So somewhere Tal played French defense as well, of course, much more rarely than Sicilian, for example. Well, but let's come back to e4, e6, d4, d5, bishop b4. Queen g4, now queen g4 you mean? Queen g4 now or later? Queen g4 now is possible, but okay, after knight e7, it's nothing special for white here. Because if take 2 pawns, black has c takes d4, and after a3, it's possible to play queen a1, and only what white can do is give exchange, but objectively only black can be better here. Rook b1, it's great mistake, because after d takes c3, a takes b4, queen a2, black is just winning. Well, so d takes c5 is another line, knight c6. Okay, it's theoretical line. But Nishmetinov played bishop d2. Some players starts with knight e7 here. Idea is if bishop d2 to have b6, to prepare bishop a6, not hurry with c5. And there is maybe quite primitive, but typical trap. So queen g4, castle, bishop d3, bishop a6. If bishop h6, knight g6. After bishop takes g6, f takes g6, queen takes e6 check, king h8. And suddenly white is losing, because his bishop are under attack. If go with bishop, for example, bishop d2, black is just taken, and after bishop c8, white is losing his queen. Okay, it's very primitive trap, but anyway, it's important to know. So idea b6 to prepare bishop a6, because very often in French defense, black has problem with development of his bishop. So now bishop a6 is prepared with idea to exchange this bishop. White has several ideas. For example, bishop b5 is possible, if c6, bishop a4 to prepare knight c2. Okay, but c5 was played, and now bishop d2 was choice of Rashid. a3 much more popular, and here after knight e7, white can play many different moves. The most aggressive one is queen g4, but also h4 is also possible. Knight f3 is possible, or a4 is possible as well. So a lot of theory, of course. But okay, bishop d2 played Rashid, and Tal played knight e7. Black has choice. Totally possible is knight c6 here, because queen g4, it's possible, but not dangerous. Knight g7 will come. Okay. Again, if white is taking 2 pawns, black is better, because white will lost e5 pawn, and black has strong initiative. So d takes c5 is possible, but white can hardly play for advantage here. For example, castle, knight f3, bishop takes c5, bishop d3. At the moment, bishop takes a7 is threat. For example, black cannot play knight b4, because this simple combination is coming. But black is totally okay after knight g6. Now pawn is attacked. Black wants to take on a5, and after queen h5, knight b4 is very strong move. Idea to exchange this active bishop. And white has no time for tactical tricks, because, for example, after knight g5, knight takes d3 is possible with check. So there is no mate on h7 and h6 now. And after knight takes f7, king takes f7, white has nothing, just lost piece. And if play castle, of course, black will not wait with bishop d7, knight g5, and knight takes f7 is coming, and bishop takes g6, but it's possible take immediately on d3, and after c takes d3, bishop d7. Now white bishop d3 is exchanged, and there are no good chances for attacking king's flank. So practically, probably even black is better here. So, knight c6, it's theoretical line. If knight b5, for example, black can take simply and take with knight. Knight d6 check is possible, but objectively, after king f8, it's not clear that white has enough compensation for the sacrificed pawn. So, okay, more quiet line. Knight takes d4, c takes d4, f4, knight e7, knight f3. White will take back pawn easily, but objectively black has good chances to equalize game, approximately, in this variation. Okay, but knight e7 is possible as well. So a3 played Rashid. Now knight b5, black can just take and castle. And after c3, knight c6, black has good contraplay because c takes d4 and f6 is coming. Also bishop d7 is possible, of course. So white has good center, but some problem with development. Lasker lost such a game against Aron Nimzovich with white. a3, this is theory. Bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, b6, b6. Just a moment. Алло. Добрий. Так, чекайте, завтра четвер. Ну, якщо ви можете, то можна задавати на 10 годину. Ну, то давайте на 10 годину. А чекайте, бо я зараз трошки, ну добре, добре, то ви позвоніть, потім мені перезвонити. Sorry. So b6 he played, okay, b6 is a dubious line according to modern theory. Стосовно Олімпіади, я скажу, ніхто мене не запрошував. Просто-напросто. So, theory doesn't recommend play b6. C takes d4 is one theoretical line, and another, probably even more promising line for black is knight c6 here. Because if d takes c5, d4, bishop d2, knight takes e5, black is totally okay in this position. If white plays knight f3, black can take on e5, take here and play castle, and white has two bishops and black has isolated pawn, but white has some problem with development. For example, after bishop d3, knight c6, if bishop g3, queen f6 is coming, and b2 pawn is hanging, black is ready for bishop f5, so this is equal position. And c takes d4 is another line. Tigran Petrosyan played c takes d4 in this position. After queen takes d4, he played knight f5. And now, very important for white to play queen f4 immediately. Queen f4 is stronger than queen g4, because after queen g4, h5 is strong. Black gain important space. So, but after queen f4, white is slightly better, according to theory, according to my memory, of course. Okay, I can check encyclopedia. Just a moment. Because game Sakharov Petrosyan was quite famous. Ah, this is B. I need C. Sorry. So, Ola. I like informators, I like encyclopedias, and I don't like engines. Okay, E5, C5, 176. Bishop D2, knight E7. Yes, knight C6. Yes, I already explained this. But strange enough that instead of queen f6, very natural move, encyclopedia suggests to play f5 here. It's a little bit strange for me, but let's see what is this. Ah, but queen f6 is also good. Rawson played queen f6 and equalized easily. So queen f6 is good, but f5 played Nikolai Lehkий. And after bishop f4, he played queen f6. Okay, maybe f5 is possible as well, but queen f6 looks like more natural for me. Okay, so but after c takes d4, queen takes d4. Knight c6 now, queen g4 is possible, and black has cannot play h5 immediately because pawn is hanging, and after knight f5, knight f3, and important that after h5, queen f4, black cannot play g5. This is important difference between knight f5 and knight c6. So Tigran Petrosyan played knight f5. Just a moment. Sorry. Just a moment, please. Алло? Ну що? Я бачите, правильно слухати. Так. Та ні, ну то вже, ну тоді добре, тоді завтра увійдемо з тенісу інший раз. Так, так. Добре, дякую. Sorry, I'm here again. In English, okay, it's at Yugoslavian encyclopedia, so in different languages. So English, Russian, French, Espanol. So you can see German language, Espanol language, Russian language, Serbian language. So this is a big choice, yes. Okay, so I wanted to check what Petrosyan played. So knight f5 played Petrosyan, instead of knight c6 he played knight f5, and Sakharov played sorry, queen, just a moment. Yes, Sakharov played queen g4, and after h5, black is fine. If queen f4, g5, this idea. But queen f, so queen g4 is inaccuracy, serious inaccuracy from white. And but queen f4 is correct move. Also, according to encyclopedia, the difference if now g5. White can play queen f3 probably, or maybe queen d2 is possible. But what gives encyclopedia? I need to check. Sorry. Knight f4. Queen h4 they consider it, but after queen h4, white just taking and castle, and white is better. Of course, white is better here because Sakharov, I don't know. I I wasn't. I have never met Yuri Sakharov, but I understand your humor. He was okay, quite a good master, but he was more famous like a coach, chess coach. He lived in Kiev. Okay, so after queen f4, according to theory, white is slightly better. Also, it's possible to continue analyze, so we can consider some, for example, g5, queen f3, probably, I think this is idea. And now black has no pawn on h5, and it's not possible to play g4 in some moment. If d4, white can castle, f knight c6. Maybe even this is possible with excellent compensation, because with pawn of g5, black has problem with castling. And also, if you match a pawn on h5, knight g4 is possible, but with pawn on h7, it can be dangerous for black. So it's important to know that in this position, queen f4 is strongest, but for black, the strongest is knight c6. Okay, but Tal played b6. This is not the best, but okay, not terrible move as well. So black wants just play bishop a6, exchange bishops, and have a normal position. But of course, Rashid Gibiatovich fighting with this before. Very standard and very aggressive moves. Before, idea is simple. So after bishop a6, white is ready to play b5. Queen c7 played Tal. Okay, so there is choice. Black has many moves. For example, queen d7 is possible to consider. Quite standard move for French defense. For example, we can remember system which David Bronstein liked to play. So queen d7 here, after a3, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, b6. Queen g4, f5, queen g3, bishop a6. Idea to have pawn g7 protected. So I think also here queen d7, it's looks like logical move to prepare bishop a6. If, for example, white is playing naturally, bishop a6, and black achieved his positional goal to exchange bishops. Okay, but after queen d7, probably white can consider something more creative. Rook b1, for example, looks like logical alternative, and white still prepared to play b5 after bishop a6. So Tal played queen c7. Nothing special. Knight f3. Developing move. Knight d7. I'm not sure about knight d7. Probably castle was more flexible in this position, because more active position for knight looks for knight b8. I mean, looks c6 squares and d7. So probably more flexible was castle. But after castle, bishop d3, and somewhere bishop takes h7, knight g5, at least necessary to calculate. So Tal played knight d7, probably with idea that now bishop d3, it's hardly good for white, because black can take and play knight c6. And pawn e5 is hanging. It's probably not totally clear, but for example, after c3, takes, bishop b5, bishop b7, takes. Looks fine for black, because if bishop g7, rook g8, and rook takes g2 is coming. So this is problem of bishop d3. So after knight c6, okay, maybe bishop b5, maybe white can defend this pawn, but bishop d5, it's wrong positionally, because white need to attack in king's slang. So black can just play castle, no problem. So knight takes d4, however, it's risky, because after queen d4, queen c2, castle, and rook c1 is coming, rook c7, white has more than enough compensation for the pawn. Is that everything okay with voice, with video, with your mood, and with atmosphere on my channel? Okay, good. So because of this, Rashid played bishop e2. His idea is obvious. So after c takes d4, he wants to take with queen. So this is the difference between bishop e2 and bishop d3. So after bishop d3, white has no possibility to take with queen. After bishop e2, white has. And knight c6, if for example queen e3 simple, and white has very good position with two bishops and good perspectives of attacking king's flank. So bishop e2, knight c6 played Tal. Okay. Again, I'm not sure that this is the best. Maybe more natural was to take here after queen takes d4 to play bishop b7 to prepare rook c8 somehow. But it's question how strong is black contraplay. Somewhere, for example, if rook c1, black has idea to play knight f5 and d4 probably is coming, and then to take on g2 in some variation. But okay, this requires some analysis. Anyway, bishop b7 looks like logical move, or even maybe here bishop b7 with idea to take on d4 probably in better moment. Okay, so it's quite complex game. White has two bishops, but black has solid position and can try to attack white center. So knight c6, played castle. So of course here black can hardly win the pawn, because after c takes d4, knight takes d4. If this knight is taken, white can just take and take on g7. Also knight b5 looks very promising, and then f4 is coming and bishop takes g7. If another knight, same problem, knight b5 and then f4. And okay, maybe this is not totally clear, because after f4 black has bishop e6, so it's not end of variation. But okay, knight c e5. Let's. So knight b5 looks like the most natural, because bishop on c3 is hanging, so knight b5 is more or less forced. After queen c6, probably white has also idea to take on e5 and play f4. And play queen d4, sorry. But black can try to defend with f6. f4 also is common. If knight f7, c4, white has at least very good compensation. So to take such a pawn, it's quite dangerous. So Tal played castlet, and d takes c5. So he wants to take pawn in better situation. It's a moment. Rashid Gibiadovich took twice on c5, and now Tal took pawn on e5. Very ambitious choice, because more solid looks to take here, because after knight takes e5, without e5 pawn, white bishop on c3 became more active. Hello. So after knight takes c5, black has again his positional idea, bishop a6 to exchange bishops. So what is problem? Why Tal didn't play this? Probably he was worried about bishop b4 here. It's only reasonable explanation. So maybe bishop b4, and now knight is under attack. For example, if take and knight d7, queen d4 is coming, and not so easy for black. If queen takes c2, bishop d3, rook c1, white has excellent compensation. But okay, after bishop b4, probably black can try queen b6 as well. I'm not sure that this is very good, but it's an interesting alternative. Now bishop is attacked, and black is prepared to play a5. So okay, rook b1 is more or less reasonable, a5. Black has good chances to equalize in this position, in my opinion. So knight takes c5 looks like a solid, reasonable choice. But okay, position is about equal. Probably possible also play knight e4 here. But anyway, queen d4, I'm worried. And if queen takes c2, bishop d3, white has excellent compensation. Even in endgame, their initiative is pretty unpleasant, for example, in this line. Knight takes d4 and rook c7 is coming, so it's unpleasant. But okay, so knight takes c5 and bishop b6 and queen b6 looks like more or less enough for equality. Also probably after rook b1 instead of a5, black can take on b4 simply. If rook takes b4, queen c7, if a takes b4, knight a4, and now knight c3, it's threat. Як я дивлюся на сеанси, я дивлюся добре на сеанси. Це, я думаю, було би цікаво, можливо, не тільки сеанси, а також і якусь лекцію на якусь шахову тему, яка би цікавила глядачів. Ну, але мені здається, що якось тому би мала посприяти місцева влада, не обов'язково Львова, може якогось іншого міста, де би людям то було би насправді цікаво. На загал я дивлюся дуже позитивно на цю ідею. So, knight takes e5 looks like risky decision. So, takes. Black, okay, white has double pawns now, but their pieces are much more active than black ones, so it's not easy to realize this positional weakness. And okay, in this position, white two double pawns are not weakness at all. So queen d4, very concrete. f6 is only move. f4, understandable. Knight c6. Okay, if knight d7, if black tries to attack, it's nothing because f5 is coming, and black cannot take on c5 because bishop b4 is coming. So knight takes c5, bishop b4. Any problem with chat? Is it any problem with chat? Hello again, I'm here. Hello. Is it everything okay with? Is it everything okay with video and? Everything is great. Okay, so I'm checking encyclopedia now during the break. So according to encyclopedia, b6 is quite good move and very interesting that that Bareev played b6 against Petr Leko in Vaikanzai in 1995, and Petr Leko didn't play before like Nizhmedinov. He played bishop b5 check, bishop d7. Now he played bishop d3, maybe a4 is option as well, but after a4 it's possible to take and queen d7, and if queen e2 c4, white is losing the pawn. Probably there is some compensation, but I am not sure that this is enough. So Leko played bishop d3, and knight c6 played Bareev, knight f3, and knight g6. So this is game Leko-Bareev. Now c takes d4 is threat, and Leko took on g6. If queen e2, knight f4 is coming, so this is idea. Now c takes d4 is threat and take pawn. So after this, of course, black has no problem at all. Position is equal. So this is game Leko-Bareev. And also, before queen c7 played Tal, and after knight f3, suggestion of encyclopedia is take on before here. And after bishop takes b4, to play bishop a6 and exchange the bishops, which looks like very logical idea. So after bishop a6, they consider bishop d3. I don't know if it is the best move. At least for me, more natural looks to take and play queen d3. I am not claiming that white has advantage here, but okay, it's playable. But encyclopedia gives bishop d3, bishop takes d3, queen takes d3, knight c6. Доброго вечора, Олександр. Якраз прийшов Олександр Рустемов, великий експерт з французького захисту. Spanish, por supuesto puedo hablar español sobre qué tema quieres hablar en español. Ahora veo que viene Alexander Rustemov, un especialista grande sobre defensa francesa. ¿Sobre qué más quieres hablar conmigo en español? De qué país estás? Це я демонструю своє вміння іспанською мовою. So, after knight bc6, bishop d6, queen d7, black is ready to play knight f5 to attack the bishop. So, a4, knight a5. a4, idea to have bishop a3 after knight f5. So, knight a5. Unbelievable. Castle, rook c8, position is equal according to encyclopedia, and totally possible. I don't see anything wrong with knight c4 also in this position. Encyclopedia gives rook c8, so it's quite De Francia. Okay, muy bien. So c takes before, it's a very logical alternative. Okay, maybe white need to play something more careful, but bishop d3 doesn't look good idea, because after knight c6 white has problem with pawn e5. So what else? Queen d2 probably is possible. But after queen d2 again c takes d4 and knight c6 is coming, and now after f4 probably black can take on d4 and take on c2, and white has some compensation, but in this version not so obvious. So probably this is promising line for black at all. So my criticism of move b6 probably was not totally correct. But okay, so Tal didn't play c takes before, so probably okay. But even knight d7 it's possible. So according to my conclusion, only in this moment Tal made the mistake. So he took on e5. So after knight takes c5, looks like position is totally playable. Okay, if white not preventing bishop a6, black has no any problem at all. So bishop b4 looks like only concrete idea for white in this position, but after queen b6, rook b1, black has a5, also possible to take. If pawn take knight e4, if rook takes queen c7 is possible, maybe queen a5 is possible as well to attack immediately a3 pawn. Also it's sharp, queen d4 probably is possible now, but maybe bishop a6, maybe nothing wrong here. White cannot win the piece, because after this rook a4, black has even two possibilities. Queen b5 is possible, also queen b6 is possible as well. So knight takes c5, it looks like okay. Thanks for subscription, first of all, and very interesting answering Alexander that according to my knowledge, I already explained it, that knight bc6 is the easiest way to equalize. But okay, b6, according to your knowledge, is strongest. Okay, maybe it's possible. Chess is complicated, and always in help of computer we can discover new things in chess theory. Okay, so knight takes e5, dubious or just bad move, I don't know. So f4, knight c6. I explained that after knight d7, f5, and white break center, while black cannot take on c5 immediately or after exchange of queens, because after bishop b4 they are losing exchange. So this is easy. So knight c6, queen e3, and now it's obvious that white has good dynamic resources, because all of these pieces are active. So black center, it's not strong, it's actually weak, and at the moment, of course, it's not possible to play e5, because after takes, black should take with knight, with bad position, take with pawn is it's very bad, because queen f3 is coming and black is losing material. d5 is hanging and queen f7 is not defense, because after rook f1 black cannot avoid material losses. About Tal, I have never played with him, but I met him several times, yes. For example, during Manila interzonal in 1990, and also I have seen him in Chess Olympiad in Novi Sad. But Latvian team was not allowed to play by political reason. It's so stupid that Tal came to play, and he wasn't allowed such legendary players because Bishop e6 it's losing because queens will go somewhere, and then g4 is coming. Okay, for example, queen e3, bishop f5, g4, d4, queen g3, black is losing. Yes, yes. Okay, not personally Thai, but Latvian team wasn't accepted. Shirov also was ready to play, so Shirov and Tal wasn't allowed to play. It was in Novi Sad, it seems. Okay, so e5 is clearly bad. Aha, knight d7. Knight d7. Yes, c takes before and bishop a6. Yes, I already explained this, that c takes before. That's true. So I already explained, which Alexander wants to explain. So, but okay, even here I don't see any special advantage for white after knight takes c5. So black has many resources to equalize in this slide. So rook d8 he played. Okay, white has good perspectives. Yes, I agree that in general bishop d2 is not dangerous line for black, but probably it's a little bit more dangerous for black with a3 bishop a5, like Andrei Sokolov played against Rafael Vaganyan, I mean in this position. So after a3, bishop a5, Andrei Sokolov against Rafael Vaganyan played bishop d2. Probably in this version, bishop d2 line is more dangerous because now knight e7 is not possible. So after knight e7, white can just take pawn and black cannot take this pawn back. So c takes d4, knight b5. So knight c6 is the best move, and okay, now queen g4, it's theory. So this is the game Kasparov against Kalifman, I recommend to see. Kasparov. Kalifman played king f8, d takes c5, knight takes c5, queen g3, bishop c7, something like this. f4, knight g6. Okay, maybe I mixed something, but if you will open game Kasparov Kalifman and other games on this topic, you will understand what I mean. And also I strongly recommend to, not for Alexander only, for all who are interested with this line, to see games from match between Andrei Sokolov and Rafael Vaganyan. But okay, let's come back, not only opening, it's topic of lesson today. Rook d8. Rook d8 seems me a little bit primitive because black center is weak, and also white has good perspective to attack in king's flank. So And after rook d8, somewhere white has idea queen g3, and then bishop takes f6 will be threat. So maybe, at least according to my intuition, the more logical choice for black looks like rook b8. Just activate this rook, and rook on f8 can be useful for defensive goals, in my opinion. But anyway, white has good prospects after bishop d3, and then queen h3 is coming somewhere. e5 never possible because of problem of development, but maybe bishop d7 is possible. Queen h3, for example, h6, and next move knight e7. So black has chances if they will try to defend accurately. But rook d8, it's a strange move because rook on f8 can be useful for defense. So without concrete reason, no reason to make pawn on f6 weaker. And okay, it looks like d4 is threat, but Nizhmedinov played rook d1. But even I have doubt if d4 is so serious threat. For example, bishop d3 can be considered if d4, for example, queen e4, d takes, queen takes h7, and probably white has very dangerous attack. Okay, but now maybe it's not obvious. Maybe king f8 is possible, and maybe black can defend this with correct defense. So if rook f3, queen f7, and with idea queen g8, so probably this piece sacrifice not totally correct in this position. So, but okay, so maybe bishop d3 is too much, but idea is quite typical for such a position. But Nizhmedinov played more easily, so he played rook d1, simply prevent d4. And in some moment he has idea to play f5, and if e5, rook takes d5 and bishop c4. Immediately it doesn't work because knight e7, of course, but at least now black cannot play bishop d7 because f5 and white can break his center. And Tal played e5, another very dubious move. So normal move in this position, in my opinion, knight e7 probably, or bishop d7. But if sorry, bishop d7 f5. So maybe knight e7 was the best defensive move here. With idea knight f5 in some moment. If bishop d3, now bishop d7. At the moment, white cannot play queen g3 or queen h3 because queen takes c5. So black has some chances to defend. Somewhere knight f5 even gives a pawn. For example, something like this. Rook takes d5, rook e8, and then bishop c6 with opposite bishop. Black has good chances. Значит, Александр, я могу рассказать про Рашида. Там очень интересная история была, что у Рашида... I will translate later in English, but now I want to answer Александр. Так вот, Рашид играл замечательно и в шахматы, и в шашки. Если брать по современным меркам, то он точно был гроссмейстером, что и в шахматах, что и в русских шашках. Стоклеточные шашки, которые сейчас более популярны, как-то он играл только в блиц, в турнирах он не играл. Но в русские играл он замечательно. И у него была мечта стать чемпионом России и по шахматам, и по шашкам. Вот он жил этой мечтой. Что касается шахмат, проблем вообще никаких не возникло. Он 5 раз был чемпионом России, то есть тут все замечательно. А вот по шашкам, вот он играл в одном из чемпионатов, и был очень близок к тому, чтобы стать чемпионом России по шашкам. И суть была в том, что перед последним туром он лидировал с отрывом в 1 очко, а отставал от него известнейший шашист и известнейший автор многих книг Вениамин Городецкий. И они в последнем туре играли между собой. И Рашиду для того, чтобы стать чемпионом России, достаточно было сделать ничью в той партии. Но эту партию он проиграл, и чемпионом стал Городецкий. Мечта Рашида не осуществилась. Now I will translate in English. So, Rashid was a very strong player in both in chess and drafts. He wasn't a grandmaster, because in that time to become grandmaster was much more difficult than now. But okay, if compare with modern players, his level in both Russian checkers and chess, it's clear he was strong master in both. And he had a dream to be a Russian champion in both chess and drafts. With chess was no problem. 5 times he have been Russian champion. Thanks for subscription. But with drafts he had, with Russian checkers, русские шашки, I mean. Thanks for subscription. With Russian checkers, only one time he was really very, very close to be Russian champion. It was tournament, he played very well, and before the last round he was leading in 1 point. And in last round he played against very famous player and very famous also like author of many books about checkers, Veniamin Gorodetsky. And Veniamin Gorodetsky was 1 point behind of Rashid. And so draw was enough for Rashid to realize his great dream. But he lost this game, and Gorodetsky became Russian champion that time, and dream of Rashid didn't realize it. And according to Yakov Damsky, according to stories what Yakov Damsky described in his book about Rashid, it was incredible shock for Rashid. He suffered very, very much after this loss against Gorodetsky. Okay, so Tal played e5, very risky move, because it's obvious that white is much better in development, so it's very risky to open game in such situation if opponents are very much developed, much better developed, and also has 2 bishops pair. So, but okay, so probably Tal decides that in tactical struggle he is quite strong, but Nizhmedinov just took bishop b5, and black has very concrete problem how to defend the pawn, because d4 is possible, but after d4, queen e4 is possible, or queen f3 is possible. I don't know even what is stronger here. Okay, white has many ideas. No, for example, queen e4, if bishop b7, bishop d3 is pretty unpleasant. So black has not only problem with center, but also problem with his king. So after g6, bishop c4, rook f7 is coming somewhere. So it looks like bad news. Bishop b7 played Tal, so probably he hopes that white will take immediately, and then black has d4, for example. If queen takes e5, d4, black is winning because there is mating threat. If bishop takes e5, okay, white is better here because after d4, queen g3, but with opposite bishops, black has chances to survive. Also, even here, it's not easy job for black. So even here, white has winning chances, but black can try at least something. So it was possible. Bishop takes c6, very technical. Maybe also d4 here is possible. Okay, d4, bishop takes d4. So it doesn't help because after e takes d4, queen b3 is coming. But now queen takes c6. Sorry. Aha. So probably it was trap of Tal. So after bishop takes c6, d4. If bishop takes d4, queen c6. Rook takes d4, e takes d4, queen e6, king h8, and white has nothing. So this doesn't work. Okay, so d4 is really strong. Bishop takes b7, bishop a8, it's too much. No, it doesn't work. So, okay, bishop takes c6 was bad because d4, so probably it was a trap prepared by Mikhail Tal, but Nishmedinov was very strong in calculation, so he played queen g3. Very good prophylactic move, and now d4 is stopped because after d4 white is just winning. So, and black simply cannot give queen g3.